right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power, and I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story, Keone Pearson just took to Instagram to announce that he will not be competing in the 2020 Mr. Olympia. Now, Keone obviously just won the Chicago Pro, which was his 212 debut, qualifying him for the 212 category at this year's Mr. Olympia, and it would be his first 212 Olympia ever if he did do it. Now, in Keone's explanation of why he's not doing it, he says the reason is his mental state. He's not there mentally. He's not prepared mentally. He's got some demons that he's battling, and he wants to spend some time focusing more on himself, focusing more on his family, focusing more on his girlfriend. And honestly, I'm really glad to see this. I know a lot of us, probably selfishly, would like to see Keone compete at the 212 Olympia this year. I would actually love to see him compete this year, but honestly, I like to see that he's really taking accountability and putting himself first. We got to put ourselves in these guys' shoes for a second and think about all the pressure that they have from fans, not just pressure to compete, but pressure to do well. I mean, Keone did get a lot of hype this year, even, from myself included, because he does have such incredible potential, such incredible genetics. And that's got to be a significant amount of pressure going into a show like the Olympia, especially if you're starting to feel like you're not doing it for yourself anymore. So while Keone's reasoning wasn't necessarily an injury, it wasn't necessarily a physical health issue, but sounded more like a mental health issue. And honestly, I'm glad he's taking that time for himself. I think we see too many bodybuilders suffer from these things in silence, because bodybuilding is one of those sports where there's a lot of different, mental illness and, depression that can come of it. Especially when you think about what the sport actually is. I mean, it's very ego-driven. There's a lot of supplements being taken that can drastically affect your mental state. Of course, that final week of prep is something that's not going to be fantastic for your mental state or your relationships. And in a lot of cases, what you're going to see happening is these bodybuilders, they're going to suffer in silence, and they're either going to pass away too soon, they're going to start losing it mentally, and you're going to see them start showing up at shows completely off, just not doing what they need to do, just not focused, not dialed in. And I'm glad that we're not going to see that from Keone. I think it's really good that he's taking the time off. I don't think there's any negatives to it, besides the fact that obviously, a lot of fans selfishly would like to see him compete, because I think honestly, I believe this, that he has a shot at winning the 212 Olympia title. But if he thinks he's not ready, then he's not ready, and that's up to nobody but Keone. So I'm going to roll for you guys the video that Keone posted so you guys can hear his own words on the situation. But Keone, if you're watching this, I support you, brother, and I hope you get through it, and I'm glad you're making this decision.
What's going on, you guys? First and foremost, thanks to everybody that supported me for the Chicago Pro Prep. We pulled out that first place victory for the 212 debut. What an incredible feeling. Still hasn't hit me yet. Second, I just wanted to come on here and let you guys know I will not be attending the Mr. Olympia this year due to, mental stress, physical stress. I'm dealing with a few battles right now, mental battles, and I'm just not there yet 100%. You guys, when you're competing and, you're doing something with it, you feel pressured, and you feel like you're doing it for the wrong reasons, and that's how I felt, that's how I feel. I almost pulled out my Chicago Pro Prep because of that, and I think that's how a lot of people lose the love for the sport, because we do it for the wrong reasons, and I don't want to do that. I'm young, I have a long career ahead of me. The Olympia stage is always going to be there. Arnold stage always going to be there. It's just not going away, you guys. So I'm gonna take the time, to find myself again, get saved, get closer to God, get closer back to my family, spend more time with my girlfriend, focus on her, and, and improve my physique, you guys. So it sucks. It's a very hard decision that I had to make, but, you got to do what you got to do. You got to do what's best for you. Everybody has their time. This is just not my time yet. So I'm going to take this time to get better all around. And yeah, go from there. So once again, thank you guys for the love and support. It truly means the world to me. Do this shit because you want to, because you love it. When you feel like you're falling apart from bodybuilding and you're losing the love, just take a breath, take a breath, take your time, and just reevaluate why you're doing this and why you started in the first place. I love you guys, and thank you for the support. Peace.
Now, next up in the news, let's talk about Wesley Vissers, Mr. Vintage Genetics himself, a.k.a. 2017 Mr. Golden Era Champion. Wesley has been posting some physique updates as well. He is also preparing for the 2020 Mr. Olympia, the classic physique category. And he's been putting up a lot of stuff. The first thing that I saw was this back double bicep shot that he posted a couple days ago. Well, back double bicep and a back lat spread. His back, a lot of people criticized his back when he first turned pro in the IFBB and started competing. It looks to me like progress has definitely been made here in terms of overall width. It looks like he's got pretty good detail there at 9 weeks out. So the back is looking good. And now if we go over to the famous twisting front double bicep pose, kind of very reminiscent of Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's one of the main comparisons that Wesley gets that I see very often, is the fact that he looks and resembles Arnold Schwarzenegger from a physique standpoint. And this kind of twisting side front double bicep is one of my favorite poses that Wesley hits, because he just pulls it off in a way that you don't really see too often. I like the way he hits that pose. He's looking really good in that pose. So what are Wesley's odds in the classic physique Mr. Olympia? Now, one thing I like about Wesley is everybody counted him. They counted him out, and now, you know, he won a pro show to get to the Olympia. So he's not getting there on points. He's getting there off of a solid victory, So I do think Wesley is going to do well at this year's Mr. Olympia. I can't honestly say that he's going to be like a top 3 contender. I do think he's got some work to do before he gets to that point. But I do think he maybe has a shot at the top 6. I think he's going to be a top 10 guy, and I think he's going to do well. And that says a lot, considering that the classic physique lineup is pretty deep. There's a lot more names than in men's open bodybuilding, for example. So top 10 would be a much bigger deal than it would be in men's open. So I would say, optimistically, I would have Wesley in this year's top 10. Now, next up in the news, the Grizzly strikes again. You guys were begging me for another Grizzly update. So Karakios Grizzly, one of the guys that has some of the craziest curl workouts on YouTube, he posted another crazy curl workout. Now, granted, he's only done a handful, maybe just a couple, of actually strict curl videos. But these cheat curls here, he does 110 kgs for a total of 20 reps. Again, like it weighs nothing. And for those of you guys who don't know, 110 kgs equates to about 242.5 pounds. And as you guys know, the strict curl world record is 249. So he's repping out just a few pounds shy of the world record in strict curl for 20 total reps. He's insane, man. The Grizzly is insane. So I wanted to give the shout out to the Grizzly in this video, because I've seen in the comment section the Grizzly has quite a bit of fans. So give this video a thumbs up for the Grizzly. Now, next up in the news, Logan Franklin preparing to make his classic physique debut at the Olympia. He qualified by winning the Tampa Pro, and he posted this posing video where I think he looks very impressive. Logan, what I like about Logan and why I think he fits so well in the classic physique category is he's got a lot of very unique poses. He's got a unique posing style, and that's something that I really like to see in classic. You know, at the Tampa Pro, he had that back double bicep with a tricep shot mixed in with it. But here, he's hitting a crucifix pose, and he's hitting kind of a different looking variation of it. But I think it looks very impressive on his frame. Now, to be fair, I do think Logan needs to put on a little bit of size to be more competitive in classic physique. He's a taller guy, and maybe on stage that makes him have the illusion of not being as heavy or not being as big. But I do think that Logan fits very well into the classic physique category. Like I said, he's constantly working on these poses. He's got a whole bunch of, different, unique classic poses. He's certainly got the structure for classic physique. Crazy small waist. He can hit a vacuum pose. Big wide upper body. He's got good arms, which is something that some top guys in classic don't necessarily have. So Logan is another guy in classic that I like his chances of being in the top 10. Now, next up in the news, Flex Lewis recently posted on his YouTube channel kind of an injury update on officially explaining why he exited the 2020 Mr. Olympia. Now, I told you guys already, due to the press release, it said that it was a shoulder injury, and that was the main reason for the decision not to compete in the 2020 Mr. Olympia by Flex. But he does say in this video that he is planning on preparing for the 2021 Mr. Olympia. It sounds like he's doing that show for sure. He just wants to take the time to rehab the shoulder, focus on his health, focus on his gut health, and kind of take this period of time off and just relax, rest his body, give his body a break so he can come into the 2021 Mr. Olympia healthy, pain-free, and at his all-time best. So just like how I feel with Keone, I mean, selfishly, obviously, we want to see all these guys compete because we want the best in the world to be at the Olympia. But at the end of the day, I think these guys need to do what's best for them and not necessarily what's best for the fans all the time. They need to put their health first and their mental state first. And in Flex's case, his injuries first, making sure those are taken care of. Now, the final story that I have for you guys today, Chris Bumstead posted another physique update of what some would call one of his lagging body parts. So Chris posted a video posing, showing his back, and he hasn't really shown too much of his back, to be fair. He's posted a lot of posing updates, but very rarely has he shown his back. And his back, like I said, is what a lot of people have criticized and what a lot of people say is a lagging body part for Chris. And of course, he has in the caption there, like Jordan 96 and 97 back-to-back, obviously a reference to his intention to win both the 2019 and the 2020 Mr. Olympia. Now, I'll be honest here, as much as I like Chris, I actually don't think this is the best shot of his back. As far as the lighting is concerned, it's kind of hard to tell what the details looking like in his back. It's really, to me, it's really not the best shot of his back, to be honest with you guys. It's kind of hard to make a judgment on whether or not he's significantly improved it based on this video. However, I do like Chris's chances of repeating and winning the 2020 Mr. Olympia. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about all the stories in this video. That's going to wrap it up for the video today, guys. I hope you did, in fact, enjoy it. Please subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed yet already. As always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.